2006. It was all bird flu, dangerous driving and James Blunt. But it wasn't all bad. The World Cup was back in Germany, meaning the stadium would be built on time and would occasionally struggle to understand sarcasm. Because the world was bored of watching Brazil in the opening game, this time the hosts had it, beating Costa Rica 4-2 in a stadium that looked like a tyre made out of polo mints. Paulo Wanchope scored, which still seems weird to this day. The Germans picked up maximum points, as did the Spanish and the Portuguese, while France struggled to beat South Korea. It turned out not to be as good without the referee playing in the hole behind the strikers. After the last World Cup, the refs were keeping a low profile by booking the same Croatian 3 times before sending him off against Australia. And England had to rely on some hair pulling by Crouch, an own goal and volley from Joe Cole against Sweden that was so far out that it may actually have been a clearance. England won the group and went on to beat Ecuador with a free kick that ducked and weaved like Cheryl Cole in a nightclub toilet. France beat Spain in the last game the Spanish would lose for the next 15 years, Podolski scored 2 to beat Sweden, Portugal beat the Dutch, and the Dutch beat the Portuguese back, and the Italians scored a penalty so late against Australia that it hasn't even happened yet. In the quarters, Italy creamed Ukraine, Thierry Henry beat the Brazilians, the hosts surprisingly beat favourites Argentina on penalties, causing the entire country to go from extreme pessimism to overconfidence in one smooth motion, and the Portuguese nodded and winked their way to a Rooney red card, which seemed dead unfair considering all he did was jump up and down on Ricardo Carvalho's love eggs. It went to penalties and yeah. In the semis, the Germans were increasingly convinced they beat the Italians, which was silly because the Italians scored twice in the last 2 minutes and because the Italians always beat them. France beat Portugal because France always beat Portugal, and Ronaldo looked tired because running around and waving your arms and crying to the referee like a 5-year-old actually is very tiring. In the final, France and Italy scored early, and Zidane headbutted Materazzi because he made comments about his sister. It went to penalties and the Italians won, and yet when Materazzi wore this, no one headbutted him. At the end of the day, a genuinely exciting World Cup, meaning there should be another one in about 16 years. Roll on South Africa.